let's talk about how to read and the symbolism in the Empress card. Hi, if you're new to me, my name's Christina. I'm a professional medium and tarot reader, and I also teach both of those things. So let's get into the Empress card. The Empress is all about the divine feminine, creativity, emotional maturity, and bringing projects to fruition. That is the baseline of the meaning of the cards. And we're going to come back to that a little bit at the end. Let's talk about the symbolism. First, we have this white gown. This white gown represents purity, but not purity in the biblical sense, if you know what I mean. This is the purity of love, the purity of creativity, the purity of emotion and empathy. This is the purity that we're talking about here. And then we have this pattern of pomegranates down her dress, indicating beauty, fertility, and wisdom. We are talking about the Empress card. After all, of course, we're going to have a lot of that in there. Now let's look over to what she's sitting on. She's sitting on this throne, which of course represents authority, as well as the scepter that she is holding. But she also has this crown of stars, and underneath of it, she has a laurel underneath her crown, those leaves underneath of it. And she has this pearl necklace that she is wearing. So let's examine those. So we have the laurel, the green leaves. And whenever we have laurels in tarot, that represents success, mastery, like these good things coming to fruition. And of course, the crowns represent the same thing, this authority, this mastery. But when we look at the crowns and how it has 12 stars, that has its own symbolism to it. I know the Empress is like symbolism inception, but stay with me. So what are these 12 stars? Well, they are said to represent the Empress's mastery and authority over the universe. The 12 stars have been said to represent the 12 months and her ruling over, each of the months. It has also been said to represent the 12 standard signs of the zodiac. And it also can represent the 12-starred crown of the figure that is presumed to be Mary in the biblical book of Revelation. Remember, I said in a previous video that the original Rider-Waite-Smith did use a lot of religious symbolism. It's what the people understood. Now, as we go down to the pearl necklace, literal pearl necklace, get your minds out of the gutter, this is said to represent her mastery over the planets. Her authority over the planets of the solar system. Finally, let's look at that landscape in the background. The landscape here is also important. So we have this nice stream, a gentle waterfall. It's very peaceful. It's very calm. And that gently flowing water represents, creativity, emotional maturity, projects coming to fruition, all that kind of good flow kind of imagery. The trees and the wheat represent all of the resources that she has. She is at one with nature. She is living in harmony. She has food. She has nature. She has peace. And specifically, that wheat and those trees serve as a counterbalance to the etherealness of the star crown and the planet necklace that she is wearing. You might be thinking a lot of this sounds sort of familiar as far as the imagery and symbolism goes, and you would be right. Tarot does reuse a lot of symbolism and imagery, but this is a little more than just a simple reuse. If we look at the Empress and we look at the Queen of Pentacles, we see a lot of similarities. So we have the red and white clothing. We have the fruit, the agriculture, the gently moving water. We have all of these things. So the difference between the two is the Empress is a major arcana. So like I said, these are major life lessons. These are things that you're learning, things that you're embodying, things that you're putting into practice. While the Queen of Pentacles is more of the physical world side of that. She has all of these resources, but she still needs to maintain them. She still needs to be a good steward of them. She still needs to make good decisions. But she does have everything she needs to do so. So you can even think of the Empress as like, this is the flow and this is the idea and this is the seed that we're planting. Here is what you need to embody to move forward. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles, which is the practical side of that, the things that you must do. Like, yes, you're going to be awarded the things that you need to have, but you also need to monitor them and take care of them. So, wrapping up to the beginning of what we were talking about, how do we read the Empress in a spread? Well, when we see the Empress come up, we are talking about, like I said, bringing projects to fruition. We are talking about those gaining of resources, emotional maturity, motherhood, both literal and symbolic. So, when you see this come up, be prepared. It's time that some seeds that were planted are going to be coming to fruition. You're going to be finishing those projects, and new paths and new growth opportunities are going to be opening up for you. And if you've always wanted to learn tarot, but you find it a little daunting, you can book private lessons with me at themysticoak.com.